Let's go back a bit. What was life like for you when you were a kid at school? How did that go for you?
It would depend on the circumstances.
What were the circumstances, Brendan? Paint us the picture.
Right. So I was an overweight child. And later on we'll talk about how I sort of became an overweight adult. It was a lifelong thing for me. Like your typical weight loss story, for example, describes someone who might have had an okay enough childhood. They grow up and then they grow out, if you like, and then they lose the weight and so on. But for me, the growing out didn't just begin after I'd grown up. It was happening right from the beginning. So I was growing out for as long as I could remember. I have no memory of any point during my childhood of being anything other than fat, or at the very least, there was never a time when it wasn't called out by others around me.
So when you say fat, how big are we talking?
It's difficult to know because it was enough for other kids to notice. But when I didn't sort of keep track of the scales or anything at that age. I wasn't quite that obsessed about it yet.
Yeah.
And when I look at photos of myself during those primary school years, I don't think I actually look all that bad. But kids especially, they'll spot anything that's different and they'll point it out. They may just mean it as a simple, innocent observation. Sometimes they may not mean it quite so kindly.
What kind of impact did that have on you, Brendan, as a kid? What are your memories of that time as to how you started feeling about yourself? I mean, it's not nice hearing people say that to you. Well,
I remember thinking, as I'm heading out the door, a lingering memory I have with my folks as I'm heading out the door to primary school every morning. The words that they would call out to me as I'm heading out the door was, be good. Be good. As I'm heading out the door, walking to school. And so that was all that I'd ever wanted to be, was to be a good boy. And what does being a good boy mean? It means whatever it means. It means fitting in. It means belonging. It means being normal. It means having friends, making friends, and just to fit in or whatever. And so if I'm already at that young age carrying enough extra for others around me to notice and to call me out for it, that was really kind of the first sort of sign of a dilemma in my mind, if you like. These other kids are sort of making fun of me, and it wasn't. I mean, the words themselves, all variations of fatty, you might imagine. That was one level of it, but sometimes you could really hear the intent behind the words on that whole other level.
What was the intent?
It was as if people would say, to me something like, "You're fat," and I would hear it as if they had said, "You're fat, and that makes you a bad person."
So you weren't feeling like you were being good.
Exactly. I'm failing my parents. I'm failing myself. I am a failure, full stop. And that's the mindset right from primary school, right from the get-go.
And so that started in primary school. How long did that go on for?
For as long as I was at school, not just primary school, intermediate school, secondary school, right through until I finished high school. It was generally better inside the classroom when there was a teacher around, but at the playtimes, the lunch times, the before and after school, when you're out and about and there's no grown-ups around, I'm fair game.
So how did this impact your sense of self-worth as a young person?
Well, what self-worth? I recognised that I was doing okay in the classroom, not just in terms of the teachers offering a sort of level of protection, if you like, from the worst of it, but academically I was doing okay in class as well. Outside of class, it was just the total opposite. And a lot of this attention, it didn't necessarily come just from the kids as well. There are some grown-ups out there that weren't afraid to say their piece. I remember a line from I think it was the second year of primary school, my school report. One of the teachers had written in my school report, Brendan needs to do something about his weight problem.
They wrote that in a report?
Yeah. So
Was it the PE teacher?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the PE teacher.
Wow.
But I'm thinking, wow, okay, even the teachers are calling me fat now.
So how did you manage to be able to keep enough of a sense of self-worth to apply yourself at school? Because you said I did academically, I was doing okay, and you've gone on to apply academics. So what was it that was keeping that stability through that time for you?
That was really it. I just sort of held on to those strengths and sought to foster those strengths and to bury the weaknesses. I sort of learned along the way as I'm growing up to sort of fear failure, if you like, and just sort of hold on to those things that I could do. I could read. I was okay in maths and I was okay in science. Most things in the classroom where there was a certain level of logic, where there are answers of a binary nature. Creative pastimes, the arts and crafts and those sorts of things, not so much. But I had the technical mindset, and I recognised that, and I really sort of latched on to that. It's like, well, if I'm no good at anything else in my life, at least I've got this.